Tony, you have a stretch of games coming up that are likely to be much tougher than this. Do you feel sufficiently prepared going into Florida and what's beyond?
I mean, no doubt with the teams in the tournament and 2 games after that, and just every game, we'll be as ready as we can. Today obviously tonight was a game that it was really good to see Jeff and Trey and Justice, those guys who work so hard in practice to prepare our guys to get that many minutes and that many shots up. But I was really thankful for that. But you prepare to the best of your abilities, you practice hard, and tonight's game, Grambling just couldn't shoot. I don't think they're a strong shooting team, and I think our defensive system really bottled them up. And then with Kyle getting going with his shot and all that, it got away from them. And I've been on the other side of those, so I understand that. But, obviously we play Iowa next, and we'll have to play. It won't be enough to play a 20-minute game. You're going to have to play the majority of the possessions, a 40-minute game to have a chance, and we understand that.
Tony, there's a buzz in the crowd when Kyle shoots the ball. I think obviously his reputation preceded him here, and the last 2 games we've seen flashes of what he can do.
Yeah.
How explosive is he? And
Yeah, I think he got a lot of clean looks. Although against Yale, he hit a couple tough ones where he had to get it off quick. He's got a quick release. We talked about that in the last press conference. But nice rotation. He's lively off the floor, and that's a threat that opens some things up. So that's I think as long as he keeps improving and keeps developing all parts of his game, that shot is certainly a weapon, and people have to account for it. And we're going to try to get him good looks and get him open, and I'm sure he'll be getting tracked or tagged a little closer after watching or looking at his stats and seeing some of his shooting games so far.
What about your defense? I mean, you said that Grambling was having trouble shooting, but Grambling starters scored 14 points.
Yeah, I think we were really in the gaps, and we just said, look, they're going to have to make some contested shots over the top. That's the goal of our defense all the time, make people beat us shooting contested outside shots. And I thought that's one thing we've been working really hard on, and I think it showed over the last game, all the games we've played. We've been a little tighter and a little sounder positionally because we need to. We don't always have like a guy who can just lock someone up on the perimeter, though we're not bad. And then when we do have a breakdown, we've had some nice shot blockers back there. Again, the competition will continue to step up, so that'll be tested. But that's a staple of our defense, being set in transition defense and then really being tied tight together. And I thought we did a good job tonight. They just couldn't get there. And then when your shot's not going in, that can be frustrating.
Tony, obviously the opponent taken into consideration, but you shot 72% in the first half and assisted on more than half of the buckets. What did you think of the pace of the offense, the patience?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, they played a lot of zone. Guys got rhythm shots. Kyle was hot. The basket was big. They were pretty clean looks. Got some offensive rebounds, points off turnovers. But you take what the defense gives you. I didn't think we were trying to force. I thought we were unselfish, moving the ball and getting guys open, and they found Kyle. So obviously no complaints.
On Sunday, you said that going forward, you might have to go with some 4-guard lineups every now and then. I think you ended the first half with 4 guards out there and
Yep.
Jack. Just trying to get a kind of a feel for it, and what do you think about how you used your guys today in different lineups and formations?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got 4 games in 7 days, so obviously we didn't play everybody heavy minutes. We tried to get experience for Mamadi and some of the young guys. It was good for Ty to be out there that much, of course. And, there's just different teams you play. That matchup at the 4 spot's always intriguing, and maybe Mamadi's a guy that can guard that, although he had a little trouble. That guy drove him. He was too tight, and he drove him. But whether it's Isaiah or Mamadi or Jared, those are the guys that we talked about actually with Dave Kane on the pregame show of can our forwards guard a 4-guard offense? If not, it could be Devin or Marielle. So you're always looking at that, and then what do you do offensively? And there'll be those games where you'll certainly experiment with that or play that way. And, we got a little look, and I thought it was fine. And, again, the minutes evenly distributed. Those are games, like I said, it's good for the guys that don't play a lot to get in there, but we're going to have to obviously keep working.
Devin got a couple baskets tonight after struggling with his shot against Yale in the early. has he been pressing a little bit, and do you
Yeah.
need him to score?
Well, no, I think I need Devin to be Devin Hall, and I think he's really guarding well, and he's taken that challenge on, and just let it come offensively. I thought against Yale he pressed a little bit. He took a couple tough shots, and then he hit the nice three to start. Missed the drive, but had a nice drive. I think after he hit his three, he might have shot a quick one, but just let it come. I think with him and his experience and his feel for the game and his ability to guard is significant for us. And different games he'll need to do different things. It'll just kind of take it as it goes. But I was glad to see him knock down a three. That guy works. He really works. Devin does on his game. He's working on his shot, and he's made some big ones for us. So hopefully that will continue. And it's good to see a three ball go in. And I teased him, because they were chuckling a little bit because Trey shot a couple air balls. And I said, Devin, don't laugh too much. I said, you shot an air ball too. We were kind of having fun with that. But I like the direction and how hard Devin's continuing to work. And obviously our depth will be important as we move forward.
Along the same veins, Darius is kind of a guy that's had a quiet, successful start to the season.
Yep.
What do you like that you're seeing from him on both ends of the court?
I think all of our guys have improved, and they have to. From their off-season work physically, they're stronger, and they've worked hard at their skill of shooting and handling and doing those things. So it's nice to see Darius. He's getting some more consistent minutes. Last year, if you remember, we were kind of rotating. I think I started with Darius, Mariel, and Devin, and it kind of was a three-man rotation. And then we settled on Devin, but I think these consistent minutes are good for them. Obviously, as the competition improves, there'll be competition for time, and who's ever playing well will be out there. But I like that Darius, he's got the ability. He's a slasher. He can do some things. I like how he's chasing off the ball, beating screens, and getting to shooters. So, I think he has some ability to get some stuff done in the open court for us, too. We saw that last year, and he's off to a good start.
The first of your walk-ons went in with 12:35 left. You look at the scoreboard, it's 49-9, and I don't know what it was after that. You kind of cringe a little bit at how lopsided it's become.
In that game, yeah, it was just they just were so off shooting, and again, it played right into our hands, and we got hot. So, no, you don't wish that on anybody. I've been on that side. We played Oklahoma State when I was at Washington State and got beat 82-29, and I remember that feeling. And but they'll move on, and they play hard. I liked how scrappy they were watching them on film, and it's just one of those that just was kind of the perfect storm, I think. So, no, I didn't enjoy that, to be honest, looking at that score. I'm glad that our guys played hard and we got shots and all that, but that's not what it's about.
Tony, just for fun, have you and Kyle ever got into a three-point shooting contest? and what do you like about his offensive mentality?
Yeah, no, we haven't. I think when I was recruiting him, I told him, will you be okay playing for a coach who's a better shooter than you? So I can't remember his response, but looking at his stats, I don't know. He might be tough. But I just like that I tell you what I like. He's letting the game come. He really is. I mean, he's taking those shots, and he's not pressing or forcing. He did that against Greensboro in that first game, a couple nice drop passes, and he's been that way in practice. I think he's establishing himself where he can fly off those screens and get the quick release, but he has a nice feel for when to shoot, when not to shoot, and that's impressed me most with a guy that has a weapon like that to shoot it, and I think that serves him well, and he's working defensively, so we'll hopefully keep him coming, and that's, again, stretches things for us and makes it a little easier.
Tony, you've always been effusive in your praise of the green team and
Yeah.
How hard they work and whatever, and you kind of touched on the benefit of giving them a lot of playing time today, and that's obviously for them and for you, but also for the other guys on the bench who, it seemed like they were as into watching those guys try to get scratch and whatever.
Yep. Yeah, I think that was Trey had not scored, so when he hit the rainbow three-pointer, that was great. Those are some of my favorite memories. Cade Curvin nailing the three, Thomas Rogers hitting the three. Jeff Jones, when those guys score for the first time, or they get on the floor in that setting, because you should see how hard they work and what they do. They're such servants. I say that all the time in practice. They'll stand down, they'll bother the shooters, they'll rebound, they'll sit out reps. They just do whatever's required. So those are the good things that you see and you're so happy for. And like I said, I'm glad everybody scored, and it was nice to see. So from that standpoint, like I said, where everybody scored, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So that pressure's off, and hopefully we'll get some more opportunities to play those guys if we're up, and they can, their work can obviously pay off.